afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero Strike Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to 1 versus 1 on Briansk Forest. Between these, we got Breadmarshliveplace, straight from Norway. Fighting here for King and Country for the 11th Armoured Division versus in the west, we got Panzergrenadier Angreifen. Fighting for the Oberkommandwest for Germany for the 1st SS Panzerdivision Leibstandarte. We got, and he's probably from China. Ranking-wise, they're pretty both high-ranked. Beyond that, it's pretty difficult to get details on the leaderboards. Of course, someone asks about these things. I'm kind of like, oh, right, I guess. It's not easy. I mean, if they just made it easy to find people on the leaderboards by just clicking on the name, great, but they don't. So I'm not going to bother with it, because they got better things to do. But we're off here to 1 versus 1, and we got here Scavenge, Spec Ops, and Elite Armored versus Commandos. Tactical support and Vanguard operations there. All berets on parade there for Breadmarsh with infantry gun bulletins versus machine gun, sniper, and infantry bulletins for Breadmarsh. Double sections with Universal Carrier, Volksgrenadiers, and Kugelwagen here to follow up with Sturmpioneers for Angreifen as he heads northwards into the northern marshes of the map. Which is also where Breadmarsh, more naturally, of course, feeling more at home there, is heading as well. Sturmpioneers under finding a fire from the sections there. Lee Enfield versus the STG 44 or Sturmgewehr. Section having pushed back with the Kugelwagens a bit there, slightly not trying to engage out in the open because there's no coverage, rather mean, or these little cover meaning the section that's not going to be performing so well. Volksgrenadier squad, they're slightly moving towards the cinema now, heading northward. Sturmpioneers more the centre there. Angreifen initially pushes, seems to be slightly staggering a bit here. Once encountering Breadmarsh, perhaps who's expecting Breadmarsh to actually hit south first. There, in fact, no player so far is hitting at all. We got the Universal Carrier around to support Breadmarsh's men as they head into the wet and cold north part of the map here. Past the corduroy roads, which is what you call a road that was made out of wooden logs. They used them a lot on the eastern front, though. Fun fact there, by the way. Grabbing points there, double section on the fuel point. He's really intent in ensuring that the Angreifen doesn't catch him off guard. I mean, he could lay down some sandbags to make it easier to defend for him. But apparently not. They're Kugelwagen going about there in the water in the marshes. You're going to have to be careful not to get too into deep it, or as a vast engine might not hold to it. It's not a Schwimmwagen, you know. It's not? Nine, how could you think it was? Doesn't even look remotely like a boat, but you know, it's a Skubel bucket. Yeah, but that's not how it works. Shut up, I'll slap you. Sandbags being dug in here, lies sort of line of defense here for Angreifen. Expecting the fight here, but otherwise he doesn't try to push too hard northwards. In this case, it's responses track to dispatch troops southwards, leaving basically here blocking detachment to stall up Breadmarsh while he grabs the southern half of the map. They're trying to make up for the fact he wasted a bit of time here up north. I mean, that is an interesting move there by Angreifen, necessarily not a bad one, but of course it does tie down 500 worth of manpower there. And so far, Breadmarsh is wisely enough deciding not to bother with that. We got no tech up yet. We got a third section out there, plus a Vickers here for Breadmarsh, sending the Universal Carrier over the section there southwards. Going to trying to locate the rest of the forces and that way hit them. We got a lot more Volksgrenadiers than they have. Angreifen. He's got up to 3 with a 4th one on the way. A single squad heading northwards there, sneaking up behind us. That's going to force them out of their cover positions again. Strength here, but otherwise not really that strong elsewhere, so that's going to give him, I think, some problems here as Angreifen suddenly finds himself wisely outmaneuvered here by Breadmarsh. Who's continuing to head southwards there. Sturmpioneers Kugelwagen they're hanging about there. More folks moving northwards. And there we go. Going to be a bit of a scuffle, a bit of a kerfluffle here. Though at the same time, he's in theory left himself quite weak in the north. But so far, Angreifen seems to take the bait there. He's been harassed here. So he moves down the Volksman in this quarter. There you go, running into 2 sections, one in the house and another one here. Nicely able to hold up behind some cover here, leaving Angreifen Volksman is actually in a pretty bad position. I mean, overall here, that is a very executed bullet move there by Breadmarsh, which is going to punish Angreifen for just digging in there and expecting his opponent just to tag into it. Because they're suffering heavy loss, then we got more sections sort of just piling on, plus the Universal Carrier and the Vickers. He's going to have to retreat. In fact, Mark Bliss a wipe here in the early game. That's going to be quite a loss there for Angreifen. He's keeping the other squad, they're basically draw fire, but the problem is that lowers their chances of not all getting murdered on retreat. But so far in this case, it does pull off there, it does work there, but it was pretty risky there. Kugelwagen flanking behind Sturmpioneers saying about the trunk lead unmarked. In this case, might not quite work out, He does manage to finish it, but the question is, will Breadmarsh have noticed? Will he have noticed games from sappers as they might actually have done so? Section moving southwards there up north though. Volksgrenadiers are grabbing territory and they're laying down sandbags in front of the sandbags. because that's going to work. And then they're laying down more sandbags. Yeah, we're geniuses. No, we're not. Pawn stepping secured, so large into the force there from Angreifen. No sign of tech up there for him as of yet. Of course, for Breadmarsh, we got the triple section, sappers with minesweepers, so he most likely saw that mine. He's basically assuming his opponent will be laying down mines, which is also pretty safe to make assumption. We got the armored car being requisitioned for King and Country for the 11th Armored. Folks are opening up in the sappers, and more folks is following up. They've got tech up there for Angreifen, which could open up for some assault rifles, but also Panzerschrecks.
Supply hub Ketta is ready for orders.
Question is, does he go for the Battle Group headquarters for the healing, which, considering his very large entry force, does seem likely, but in theory he could pull a fast one and go for Luxus and Pumas. I mean, versus the AC, though, he's going to need something to deal with that, so, I mean, Panzerschrecks and the Sturm Pioneers are a bunch of Academy efforts. Fixing up the University there, we got the AC on the way for Breadmarsh. Folks, they're moving up towards the sandbag position in the centre section, caught out in the middle of the water. Bit of risky setup there. Folks are pulling up to there, we got the University coming in, got the section moving in. But it's still going to be a difficult place to attack it due to basically, it's mostly negative cover around it. There's not a lot of positions that are really good to attack from in this case. It's getting awfully close, but he must be pretty confident that they're not going to have access to Panzerfaust. In this case, he's just using it to push them around them. I mean, in this case, had Angreifen been a bit faster, he could have Panzerfausted that one to death. So right there, really risky gamble from Breadmarsh, but in this case it works out splendidly. And basically the University then draws away attention and fire, allowing the rest of the units to move in close. In fact, we could see a wipe here, we could see a wipe. Annihilated.
Heavy armored car ready.
Their corpses sinking into the swamp, never to be seen again, until found by some curious archaeologists or someone going fishing. He's going to lose a second squad. Oh, huge loss here for Angreifen, huge loss. I mean, he's got most of the map though, but he's just lost 500 manpower there. 500 manpower. I wouldn't quite say he did sort of the same amount of damage, but they're worthwhile back to Breadmarsh. So that is a pretty bad development there. That is a pretty bad. He lost 3 squads. That's 750 manpower for Angreifen. Holy snot. That is a huge win there for Breadmarsh. That was a very poor series of tactical decision there for Angreifen. That is a huge turnaround there. And again, he's got some map to give back from, so it might have a small chance of at least bouncing slightly back and mildly stabilising, but really, that's a huge advantage to the Breadmarsh. So again, while he's got the resource advantage due to simply having most of the map, I mean, he's clearly going to lose it because Breadmarsh now has pretty much next to no German resistance to worry about. And he's quickly choosing to sort of go Vanguard operation to quickly further allow him to sort of follow up on it, and with the raid operation, strategically this is a very sound decision. He's just keeping his vehicles moving to just grab points here fast and rapidly. I mean, the longer he just sits about there, the more he's losing out there. But he got the armor car heading south to help grab more territory. This is good. This is the right response. Again, he is trying to exploit the opening he just made there against Angreifen. He's now going for the light infantry gun, what he perhaps should be considering like Academy efforts or machine guns to contain Breadmarsh's vehicles and infantry. So yeah, pretty bad development there. Pretty bad development for Angreifen. That is huge. Kubelwagen moving northwards. We've got Volkskriegs Sturm Pioneers there. We've got the light infantry gun. We got medics on the way there for Angreifen. Moving towards the centre there. Section standing about. Opening up there on them. Sturm Pioneers following up. Bickers firing in. Veterans who won there. Volkskriegs suppressed. Sturm Pioneers breaking off, leaving the Volkskriegs just to get slaughtered there up close to each other. Come on, Angreifen, don't lose more men, please. In the south, their points being grabbed. Section moving down there as well. And we get a bit of light artillery fire trying to silence the Vickers machine gun, but so far has very poor impact there against the Tommies. Those Inselaffen. Points there being secured. Back here, nothing further going on. Not more infantry, not more units so far for Angreifen. In the meanwhile, Breadmarsh is just continuing to advance here against the Huns. Quick counter-attack here by the western side to at least keep some of Angreifen's territories intact here versus Breadmarsh, who's all just was swarming forth like a bunch of tea-drinking locusts. More focus on the way there for Angreifen. Because University once more sort of got units in it, so it's allowed to quickly move about, then grab territories. We got the air glider on the weather for Breadmarshlive being up for commanders. That could definitely give Angreifen a lot of problems with this map, since the commanders with the Sten guns will be quite good in these much more closer confines. So certainly not looking better there. We got sections here nearly by sandbags to help defend this area. Very good setup there by Breadmarsh. Very good setup. Another bout of raid operation. Excellent stuff there. Excellent stuff. And now he's very much just getting most of the map there against Angreifen. Nope. Important to note, he has left the north completely undefended. And while he could have, say, rushed up some troops to the Universal Carrier and maybe then supported by the armoured car, he's choosing not to do so. So in this regard, Angreifen will be able to seize the north with some ease, because again, it's not going to be neatly sort of hit with a counterattack. You got the glider here by the way back at the base. He's not risking it, which of course could very likely indicate he's planning on getting out some more commanders from it. Otherwise, he probably would have played it a bit more aggressively if he didn't really care about, getting more units out and just wanted the air landing officer himself.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
Legacy covering, Volks is in a lot of trouble. Light infantry gun Kubelwagen here, victory point being secured, and up north fuel point as well. Assault rifles on the way. Sturmgewehrs. Nothing further there for Angreifen. He's actually got a lot of fuel again. I mean, he really did gain a lot of fuel from that sort of map control he had there earlier. So in theory, he could try and aim here for schwer panzered quarters, and could then sort of reasonably well follow up with some armor afterwards versus Breadmarsh. But it does very much require him to get there. And so the faster you get it, the faster you could also aim towards Obersoldaten, which would probably help sort of try and fill up the power gap there he suffered after losing 3 full-scale succession squads in fast succession. That was what I was trying to say, they're not 3 full-scale sections, but 3 full-scale squads in fast succession, quick succession. Anyways, commanders there, taking losses there from the Panzer straight and the Sturm Pioneers, assault rifles, armoured car moving up here, Volks is firing up, not really the best position. You should consider laying a more sort of line of sandbag across here, so you can better defend through the south there. This one, it's more sort of suited for defending through here or here, not so much for attacking for anything attacking through there. University could get Panzerfaust, but looks like he wasn't quite paying attention. Heavy fighting here by the northwest part here of the swamp. The western edges of the swamp, by the way, Sappers push back. He's almost got it, but he's going to have to treat those Volks gunners. Angreifen, I don't think, can afford any losses, and he really should be considering taking out now versus Breadmarsh. Thankfully for him, Breadmarsh has not taken up, but again, it's partly due to, again, the crazy map control that Angreifen actually managed versus Breadmarsh here in the early game. MG34 following up the Angreifen, not a bad idea, really. Machine guns could do a lot there, and we got another bout of raid operation there, plus take up for Breadmarsh. I mean, it's really great to see him make use of the raid operation so much again. It's a pretty good ability if you utilise it well.
Task complete. New orders.
And unit wiped. Another loss here for Angreifen for the first SS.
Gun group are ready for action.
And we've got to try and whether that could very likely become a schwer panzered quarters, but right now Angreifen is, in a rather inverse situation to what he was, just some minutes ago there. We had most of the map, now he's barely got any of the map. He doesn't quite have anywhere near the force that Breadmarsh does, so it's going to be quite a challenge here. It's going to be quite a challenge there for Angreifen to get back in the match.
Trying to take one of our points.
Schwer panzered quarters will probably set up there. Bit risky there, could backfire on him, but if he can get out something good from it, he should be able to slowly turn the tide. Southwards, we've got some harassment going on there. I mean, you can sort of see that Breadmarsh overall just sort of usually shifts his force sort of in larger bounds. That does mean, for example, certain parts of the map will constantly be left unguarded. It gives him more sort of offensive part, but defensively, it does give Angreifen more wiggle room to actually attack, because he doesn't have to worry about encountering severe resistance in certain places if he just sort of manages to either A, bait him into sort of moving a lot of parts of his forces southwards, or just, quickly attacks elsewhere while he's then trying to capture one half of the map there. So in that regard, sort of tactically and strategically, there are some slight gaps in Breadmarsh's play, which Angreifen so far seems to be exploiting quite nicely. Schwer panzered quarter sitting up there. Artillery against the Vickers by the looks of it. Officer sent running, Universal Carrier falling back, and we got regular commanders in the way for Breadmarsh, as was to be expected, and again, good infantry. You could consider some weapon racks, but so far it looks like he hasn't felt the need for it. His schwer panzered quarter soon being discovered, his MG34 heading northward to help grab territory there. And that could actually allow him to quickly knock out the schwer panzered quarter if he actually basically gets anything else. In particular, the armoured car could do a lot of damage to the schwer panzered quarters. So this has been a risky situation here for Angreifen. He probably should have left something nearby to support. He's even using light infantry to grab territory. And we can really see here that Angreifen is pressured, if not downright desperate. There you go, schwer panzered quarters almost knocked out here. Almost. I mean, that's what he's close to getting knocked out there. He's almost got the armoured car, but still, the armoured car almost got the schwer panzered quarters. Had he been a bit faster to realise what's going on, he could have probably gone next. Right there, that was a high-risk move from Angreifen. which almost got punished very badly. Almost. So he got rather lucky there. Savas getting splattered here by the first one on the flank of the Schwer Panzer quarters. He can go for the Panther 4 here. He can go for the Yak Panther, but he's run on the back foot, so a part of me wouldn't be too surprised trying to push for the Panther that way, gaining some kind of superiority against the opponent, which would allow him to more easily get back in the fight. He's going for more Sturm Pioneers here. Not a bad idea. Some orbital line, though, would also be a very good choice here. Points are being grabbed. Point here being grabbed. Gonna Panther first there, the Universal Carrier with a good hit. Chili Fire there, almost getting the Vicus machine gun, and we got more Sturm Pioneers. He's going pretty heavy on them. An interesting move there by Angreifen. Interesting move. Not to double Pioneers, but triple Sturm Pioneers here. Bit of a rarer sight to see from an Oberkommando West player. Not necessarily bad, but when he's got the Schwer Panzer quarters, a part of me would rather see, Obersoldaten, or at least expect to see Obersoldaten, which can of course be upgraded with more firepower, particularly then goes for the Special Operations Doctrine, in which case they will be quite potent, but obviously might also be just trying to sort of get that thing repaired as fast as possible, so they can actually get out some bigger armour afterwards. Breadmarshliveplace and the 11th Armour there following up with Cromwell to support the infantry as they push forwards against the Hun, and Valkyrie those pushing away from them to be repaired. U-34 here, not really a good position, again, no cabins on there, really should consider some sandbags here, or even here, just, so he can better defend from the actual angles that Breadmarshliveplace is attacking from in the area here. So I'd say a bit of a tactical oversight there from Angreifen, bit of a tactical oversight. Time here for the mid-game analysis, cancelled by the way the 3rd Sturm Pioneer squad, damage-wise. Angreifen kills wise, though Breadmarshliveplace's got a huge lead. And that's not really good for the Oberkommando West. Again, then the aggressive faction. As opposed to slight differences we expect, particularly the British, we have a smaller but more potent sections, but still almost a 50% different, or twice as many there. It's not really good. Army value-wise, Breadmarshliveplace very much so set himself in the lead versus Angreifen. The Angreifen is close at times. Resource float-wise, Angreifen's been floating a lot more. He still is. At this point, he might be aiming for a Panther, and again, a Panther would not necessarily be a bad thing. In particular, not once the Cromwells hit, the Panther will simply put, be superior, and that way will help Angreifen a lot more versus that, and could also work a bit versus the infantry. Bases will serve as an anchor point for the rest of his forces, if, well, utilised and not thrown away, will actually allow him to, I think, gain back some map control there versus Breadmarshliveplace slowly and steadily, and threaten the Cromwells for something that's a lot harder for them to deal with, and he can then work his infantry around it. In terms of points out, though, initially, again, really great, and then, again, this is pretty much roughly the point there. We lost 3 squads, and it just completely went pear-shaped in a matter of minutes. And now, again, he's sort of in a much reverse situation. In fact, it's pretty much like just here, it completely shifts. Like, it's the complete reverse. It's the mirror, essentially, of what the other one had there. So in that regard, bit awkward there for Angreifen. But again, a Panther right now, I think, would be the safest choice versus the British. It was the Americans, the Soviets. Panzer IV could work. The problem is that Cromwell's just so good at its cost level that it just sort of threatens Panzer IV, even the one with more armor here, too well. So you kind of need, if you're the Oberkommandist, a Panther. If you're the Wehrmacht, you want to go for Stugs. Maybe aim for some Panthers. You go for the Panzer IV against the British if you're in a strong position. You don't go for it if you're in a bad position, because it's not going to work. Ever. So in this regard, Panther here is probably going to be this long-term safer choice there for Angreifen, in particular, then follow up with another Panther. Otherwise, get out some Obersoldaten, get some machine guns on them, and begin machine gunning down some Tommies. Leave some dying into swamps. So that is that. As for Breadmarshliveplace, he's got most of the map there, but he's not really good at defending. He's not even laying down mines. He's doing nothing yet to, for example, slow down Angreifen. So that's something they should consider. Some Bren guns here and there would be good. He cancelled the commanders, by the way. I do think he should go for some. But otherwise, just try and defend them out a bit better, try and stop some more reactionary groups, have some slight, well, let's call it outpush, a bit of here, bit there, then form up a mobile reserve that can then rush revenue. The problem is, he's basically sort of constantly on the, concerting everything there. So it's here, or there, and then so everything's up here, Angreifen strikes south, then he moves, all the way down there, and then he strikes in the north. It's, long-term, not a very sound strategic strategy. Defensively, it's not very good. and just allows him to be bled out slowly and surely, and just allows Angreifen to remain in the fight and just slowly build up until the point he can actually really begin hitting back at Breadmarsh. So Breadmarsh needs to reconsider his defensive strategy. Currently, it's too lacking. He could consider supporting with some mortar pits, which would make it harder there to just rush back and forth, and allow him to maybe lock down some parts of that more and slow down the attacker, even if he's not there with the rest of his force. So that could be something there. For example, say a mortar placement here would cover the area around here, plus here, meaning he can be more aggressive with the rest of his force up north. And again, if something happens here, he could just lay down some mines around here to make it harder to rush, but still, he can then get down there quicker. Otherwise, hammer tactics would down the road be good. I think a comet tank would do a lot for Breadmarsh, but otherwise, more commanders, maybe some Bren guns. But mines and a better defensive strategy, I think, is what's necessary for Breadmarsh. Let's return to the fight, though, and see what happens here.
Tank, ready for action.
Cromwell out there for Breadmarsh, the Mark IV cruiser tank. The cruiser tank being part of the British tank doctrine, which rather operated on light tanks, cruiser tanks, and infantry tanks. Cruiser tanks were basically meant to exploit any gap made in the enemy lines to get behind the rear lines and cause havoc. It was essentially World War I sort of a tank doctrine they sort of kept running with for World War II. Infantry tanks meant to support infantry as they broke through them, and light tanks were sort of meant for reconnaissance and also infantry support. Just not so much soaking up fire. He's going for the Jagdpanzer. I mean, I suppose with threatened by armor, it's the best choice, though at the same time, it's not going to be that far off from the Panther, so in theory, he could cancel and just go for the Panther once he can, but in theory, this means, if the opponent makes a big assault here, at least he's not going to have a chance to get something out there before it gets knocked out, whereas if he's not feeling threatened there, by the point he has to resource with the Panther, he can cancel the Jagdpanzer and then go for the Panther. So it does kind of make sense. It basically ensures he doesn't get caught off too badly guarded if it happens. And he says something to do with the tanks. So we cut officers running to the Fulks, in this case, a very poor attack. They're out in the open, right into negative cover, while again the Fulks just stood still. Good reaction there, by the way. It's a bit of a loss there for Breadmarsh. He should go for some commanders to replace them. Commander there in the hunt, Cromwell on the hunt. And will he go for the... Oh, he cancels it. He cancels it. I mean, he's getting really, really close here. So again, seems to very much been, the just in case strategy here, and guess the actually attacked here, so at least he could get up to something before he lost it. Sensible approach, I think, from Angreifen. Sensible approach. Now I can actually go for the Panther, and that way bring up something that will be a lot more scary than the Jagdpanzer of the opponent, that is the Panther. Panther comes Wagen 5. Important there being secured, light infantry gun being secured. Back here, troop ceiling reinforcing. Cromwell falling back, and here troop ceiling reinforcing as well. Still using light infantry gun secured territory. You can also soon consider again orbital Darden, which goes against Spec Ops, and the infrared Sturmgewehr would be a good thing to consider as well. Also, fun fact, they actually had infrared sights and the lights that to be mounted on Panthers as well. Fun fact.
Threatening a capture point.
Plotting them being secured. Cromwell on the way there for Breadmarsh, the second tank. And again, this is where the Panther would be really more useful than the Panther 4, whereas the Panther 4 would just get swarmed. The Panthers, overall, got a better chance of fighting off larger numbers of Cromwells than the Panzer 4. Overall, it's just more durable. Mines down there, good spot. Victory point wise is quite far behind Breadmarsh there. Commanders on the way for Breadmarsh and the 11th Armour. And there you go. Panther arriving here for Angreifen. In the, well, it was basically sort of the Ardennes winter camouflage pattern there, ambush they used there. Little fun fact. Fulks under fire from the Vickers. Half 8 of it in fleet. Section moving in. Panther moving up. Pinpoint machine gun on the way.
There's a rather splendid Cromwell ready to go.
Also, well, let's actually wait for this. Fulks under fire though. Section grabbing points. We've got the MD-34 opening up here. University Care with Sappers moving in there. Tank for the centre. We've got Fulks and Sturmpanzer holding up there. Section joining in. Cromwell moving up here. Loss there being inflicted by the Panther, killed there by armor-piercing rounds through the skull. Sturmpanzer being overwhelmed by the Sappers, which they're supporting. Cromwell moving up there, taking hit from the Panther, and it's 75mm high-velocity gun. Cromwell's firing. Both shots actually managing in this case to penetrate, but still overall the Panther does have the advantage to an extent, because no, what he's not doing, he's just not blindly rushing in. I mean, he's trying to get close there, but he's not, trying to get super close. And overall, does his best to maximise the range difference between the Cromwells and the Panther, as long as he can actually spot the targets. Which means overall the Panther will enjoy the advantage. Half 8 of veterans won already in the south. Sturmpanzer moving in, clearing up mines, just grabbing territory. Well, again, Breadmarsh's attention is centred on the north here. So well played there by Angreifen, well played. The best diversion to just harass with is a big attack. So thumbs up there to Angreifen. Section under 5 from the new 34, but again, as I was about to say, there's a fun detail there about the first. It says right before, Normandy, in fact, 1943, though, was actually sort of building up and replacing there. It actually had to get a lot of troops to form the cadre, the corps, for the 12th SS Panzerdivision Hitlerjugend. In return, they got a bunch of Luftwaffe sort of personnel who really didn't want to join in. In fact, there were a lot of problems with it. But by the time of Normandy, they were actually pretty much all integrated and all hardened SS infantrymen. But there were definitely some problems with it. But in the end, it was actually all out and again. By the time there, they were all SS Panzer Grenadiers. So a little fun sort of story there. If you can call that fun, I guess. Still, the Panthers aren't having impact there, and again, it's probably also causing Breadmarsh to be a lot more cautious. Again, the Panther is more threat there if it's well handled, and that it certainly is. We got a big push here by the commanders, straight to Fultz Grenadiers here with assault rifles and regular rifles. Commanders doing what they can though. Might want to pop some grenades and there go push back. Ultimately, since, well, they were kind of taking into a slightly prepared position there. Cromwell's still setting out. Panther can move in. Obersoldaten coming here with the LMG 34. Coming under fire from the Cromwell. Panther moving down there. And again, no, not just blindly rushing after them entirely. And again, trying to maintain a safe sort of distance there. Troops reinforcing, healing, Raketenwerfer on the way for Angreifen. Points in the south being secured. Sections moving ahead with the Bren guns, which was the Czechoslovakian machine gun. They're actually bomb point containing a Danish light machine gun, the Madsen light machine gun, which is actually usable in Battlefield 1 as a fun fact. Which was in fact, I think, sort of the world's sort of proper first light machine gun as well, just to sort of make it even more interesting. Still on parts of those sections. Opening up, they're doing some good damage. Need to retreat soon though. They're simply being overwhelmed here by the sheer Bren power here of Breadmarsh's men. And we got a centaur on the way here for Breadmarsh. That's an interesting choice here. I mean, that means he's pretty much feeling confident he can deal with the Panther using his Cromwells here, and rather wants to focus on sort of tearing away Angreifen's infantry support for the Panther. Very interesting choice here, very interesting choice. I mean, he could consider augmenting it with a single anti-tank gun, maybe in the Cromwells there versus the Panther. That would help. We'll have to see what happens here. In the south, Obersoldaten opening up the section. Bren gun versus LMG 34. Cromwell tries towards the centre, supported here by the Centaur. Fultz goes under fire here. Panther moving back up there. He was expecting perhaps the push to come in the south, but instead it happened in the centre. He's also making a larger push into the north, not supporting his tanks into the centre. Bit risky there, bit risky. He doesn't know what could be there, and his troops could run into a lot of trouble. Obersoldaten pushed back, so what's the section? Another section sent running as well. Good lord, they got guns! Yes, this is a war. What were you expecting? Well, run anyways. When you've heard for as commanders, it's actually been upgraded with the Bren gun. Nice choice there. A lot of players tend to neglect upgrading the Bren commandos, and while it does cut down their close range infantry fire, it does give them a lot more firepower on the range, and allows them to actually fire on the move, which actually makes them sort of overall in terms of DPS just better. But again, they don't quite then have sort of the same burst capability up close. But still, it's a pretty good upgrade, I think, in some cases for the commandos. Going to be in victory points, Angreifen could actually end up being able to call in another Panther. That would be pretty good for him, and that could very well be sort of the death knell there for Breadmarsh if he's not careful. He's splitting up his tanks here. Bit more risky with a Panther about there, unless he's actually intending to basically flank it with one tank using another tank as bait for the Panther. Bit more risky, but that could actually work out there. That is very much the intended tactic, but so far seems to just be using one tank to keep the Panther pinned down in a sense, then attack elsewhere, gaining armor superiority that way, which is a possibility, but it is a bit risky if he's not careful. Strong Pioneers moving ahead there, Panther moving up a bit further, Enemy for supporting. Panther opening up their Cromwell. Fultz to taking heavy damage from the centre and the Cromwell.
A capture point is being overrun.
Mine in the way. Ah! Oh, perhaps he's fencing the mine. They're just expecting our way pulled back. Panther moving a bit there. We can see that Angreifen immediately sort of begins words about getting flanked there. So he quickly pulls back to cover up the flank, then actually be ready to meet them head on. But in this case again, Breadmarsh does not do so. But sharp reaction nonetheless. There you go, hits a mine. You can see the Breadmarsh is very much fearing the Panther here from Angreifen. He's very much fearing the Panther. Cromwell need repairs, but most of the Sabs are in a pretty deplorable condition and will have to retreat.
Where do you want us?
Is he firing the main gun at wounded men? Seems a bit excessive. Mine there, got spots to help sandbag wise. He could have done better there, I think. Troop being suppressed in the centre. MG Fed for opening up the section, pinning it down to the ground. Need to get the Panther back up there before the British tank can strike. Vengeance in their hearts. And the lack of a Panther in their sights. Well, that changed quickly. Cromwell moving ahead. The Panther's not well set up. They're not well set up. Their rear's exposed, and there you go. He quickly takes advantage of it, getting a good hit in there. Bit of a mistake there by Angreifen tactically. Panther somehow faces through the armour. There we go. Half help, but at the same time, so it's the Cromwell Centaur moving in. More Kedmef's arriving here. Need to cover there with the Centaur. He's pushing it too far there, too quickly, too quickly. He's trying to get the Kedmef's, but he's suffering too much damage there from the Kedmef's and the Panther, and he's feeding it a lot of experience as well. So Mike's losing one. The Centaur here. And there you go. Looks like he will, looks like he will. Cromwell moving in. Cromwell arriving there as well. Almost got the other one knocked out as well here. Pretty risky move here. Needs to lay down some smoke or something, but needs to pull back from here. This is quickly turning into slaughter for Breadmarsh's armour. He is doing some damage, so he's wiping out some of his men, Angreifen's men as support weapons, but still getting a bit risky there. Panther has to fall back. It is now completely unsupported, but at the same time, I mean, most of the infantry is gone, but there could be an anti-tank and supporting the infantry, so that's more where it makes sense. Button grenade however gets the support weapons being recruited and wipes it, preventing it from falling into British hands.
We've lost an anti-tank.
Very good there. Otherwise, that could have given his Panther a lot more problems. He can go for another Panther right about now. No. Pandy's forcing, but still he can go for it roughly now. Of course, he could also soon go for a command Panther to support the Panther, which of course be, if that looks like what he's planning. That's not a bad idea. I mean, a Panther supported by a command Panther is a very efficient combination. Self repairs going on to quickly get all the armor here going again. Still, tank out of some sort would be good there, I think, for Breadmarsh, or at least a Firefly here. In particular, once the command Panther hits, 2 Cromwells and a Centaur is going to be not absolutely enough. I mean, unless Angreifen suddenly hands over the reins there to Alcoholic, I mean, 2 Cromwells is just not going to cut it. Panther moving about, then getting the commanders up close.
Our capture point. They're trying to take it.
Close a bit to T2 and added Schutzen. Cromwell, Centaur sitting out there. The Centaur, by the way, was actually the predecessor to the Cromwell, but never actually really saw action except as sort of some converted versions, but included the Centaur anti-aircraft tank. Little fun fact there, actually. Cromwell's arriving, engaging the opposite army, wiping out half the unit. And he's actually gone for hammer tactics. Good, good. Got some time off from it and lost the opposite. Quite a loss there for Angreifen and the German army. The Kedmef almost got the Cromwell, could see it knocked out, and Cromwell is out. Quite a loss there. Centaur next target here for the Panther, very close to T2 there. We got the command tank supporting now, giving it some extra speed and other bonus, including line of sight, allowing the Panther to better take advantage of its range. Very close to another hit, and there we go. Vecchi 2 shots added. Getting a bit more armor and a bit more health overall to the Panther here, crushing a commander. Command Panther is supporting, laying down murderous fire against the Tommies. With this, he's pretty much just cemented himself into a big armor advantage there versus Breadmarsh. Grenades going off against the machine gun there, burning it out in a matter of seconds. And wiping the Vickers machine gun. Quite a loss there for Breadmarsh, quite a loss. Mine's going off in the south there. Panther's going to move down there to deal with it, in particular where to upgrade the command Panther with a machine gun as well. Centaur being repaired, 10 kills there. Fixing up the Cromwell as well. Sometime north from a Comet. With a Panther supported by a command Panther, even a Comet is going to actually be struggling here because if he coordinates fire on it, the Panthers together will be able to make short work of the Comet if he's not careful. This is where Breadmarsh probably should be considering at least an anti-tank gun or 2.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
Panther moving in. Command Panther specifically, if he fails Panther wagon. Fun fact though, most Command Panthers would apparently sort of remove the actual machine gun to make room for more radio equipment so they could better communicate with other units. Little fun fact there, by the way. Gonna drive around there with the Panthers. Sappers under fire there from the Panthers. Cromwell, Centaur moving out. They're going to struggle here again. Cromwell is pretty much his only now tool versus the Panthers. This is not looking very bright for Breadmarsh. This is not looking very bright. And he's not bringing up any anti-tank guns. Watch a lot of the Panthers shoot at infantry. Just a suggestion there. There we go. Poor Joey there got ripped apart by a stream of bullets. North infantry will defend the centre victory point furthestly. The fatherland in the southeast on Punish Graham, the victory point there. Light infantry gun closing in on veteran 3 extremely slowly. And we got flares down here from Angreifen as well. He's probably trying to locate where Breadmarsh is actually assembling his armour to that way, possibly launching a strike there to knock it out. That's a possibility. It certainly doesn't look like it at the moment since he spotted the tanks, but he's not moving the Panthers' response. And there you go. Then again, perhaps he didn't feel he needed it with the double kidnappers. But there you go. Once he quickly bypassed the kidnappers, though something not damage the process, he does send in the Panthers here. In this case, we're probably going to try to attack from here, in which case we cut off the Cromwell's retreat path. But in the end, Panther fires does the trick. Centaur arrives, but now it's only the Centaur versus 2 Panthers and I kidnapper. Coordinate fire as well. He's actually using strafing fire there. Nice ability, but in this case, too little, too late. Certainly useless versus the Panther. And there you go, game over. A victory for Germany, a victory for the fatherland, a victory for a sensible Panther handling there by Angreifen. I mean, overall well played. I mean, really rough. I mean, great start, then really rough late game due to some tragic mistakes that cost him a lot of men, but he slowly turned around to exploiting Breadmarsh's tendency to just overreact to different parts of the map. There, Breadmarsh, I think, had a more solid defensive strategy, could have locked down Angreifen much harder, but sadly he did not. And in this case, again, he wasn't quite able to react to the Panthers there very well. I mean, the Centaur would help us with the infantry, but the problem was he didn't get enough fuel due to, again, the way the map was shifting, because ultimately he never defended the fuel points very long amounts of time and didn't build fuel caches. So he probably should not have gone for Anvil or Hammer tactics. He should have gone for a Firefly to support the Cromwells. I think that would have benefited him a lot more, at least some anti-tank guns. In their stead, he ended up relying just on 2 Cromwells versus the Panthers. Again, Angreifen did not throw away. He had to build up another Panther, which all of a sudden shifted the advantage very much seriously into Angreifen's part of the court here. I mean, overall, well played there by Angreifen. Nicely played by Breadmarsh as well, but ultimately a few strategic and tactical mistakes that ultimately gave Angreifen here the advantage, because Angreifen knew how to handle a Panther, which is a surprisingly rare skill, it seems. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay or provide some feedback in the comment section. If this is Imperial Entry, cheers. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Cheers.